This is a clip from an earlier live stream. I know you're going to like it, so the link to the full video is down below. Check it out. I'll see you over there.
They're either, it's only one, well, if you don't know them, you're ignorant. If you know them and say it, you're evil.
Yeah.
It's pure evil.
It's evil.
I went to Turning Point the other day because I do really love.
Okay, I'm just going to stop. You probably already know what made my blood pressure go up. You probably have picked it up. Why in the world is he being ambiguous? We all know who he's talking about. We all know who it is who's put Mikey in the crosshairs, who put Rob in the crosshairs, Turning Point as a whole in the crosshairs. We know who it is. Brandon, say her name. Call her out. You're saying that she's evil. You're saying that her mind is gone. You're saying that she's being used by the devil. Then just say, Candace is these things. And your heart can break that this is your friend. Your heart can be torn because, man, this is my road dog. But at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, you have to be honest. You're not being a blessing to your friend if you're not telling your friend that they're going off a cliff. You're not being kind to your friend. You're truly, I would go as far as to say that you're unloving to your friend. If you don't tell your friend what they're doing is troubling, is problematic, is tearing apart the body of Christ, sowing dissension, accusing the brethren, fill in the blank. But whatever it is, Brandon, you got to stand stronger than this. Let's go.
Charlie, and Charlie was my friend. And my dedication to Charlie is his legacy. That's all I care about is his legacy. So I want to take care of his wife. I want to take care of his legacy with Turning Point USA. And I want to push the things that he believed in. So I go to Turning Point, and I see Erica and I give her a big hug. I see Mikey. I see Terrell. These people are getting death threats. That people are threatening to kill them.
Why though?
Because somehow they think it had anything to do with Charlie's death.
How did that get out there? They didn't just go down the clearance aisle at Walmart. Where did they get the idea that these people at Turning Point were associated with Charlie's death? Where did it come from? I need Brandon Tatum to tell us that. Where did it come from? Where? Who's the biggest purveyor of this idea? It didn't just land anywhere. It just didn't pop up out of nowhere. It came from your friend. You're going to have to say that. You're going to have to say it with your full chest. Otherwise, you're going to be like Megyn Kelly. Otherwise, you're going to look like Tucker Carlson and others that are trying to cape for Candace. And she's just running roughshod, dancing all over them because they're going to keep covering and giving her duck and cover. And you're going to end up doing the same thing. You're going to have to just say it out of your mouth. Tatum, it's Candace.
People loved Charlie. What are we saying? It's funny that some people say,
who's some people?
Charlie believed this. Charlie did this. Everybody turned on Charlie. And these people were closer to Charlie than they were.
Yeah.
See, actually, the sentences that he's using don't even make sense because he keeps using these pronouns, they and these people. Say names. Name the name. The names must be named. You got to name the names, man.
These people, I would argue, loved Charlie to the day he died. They were there when he died.
And they're holding his organization together day in and day and night.
They're trying their best. He is the cash cow. He is the idea. He's the movement. He's the bread and butter of Turning Point. What are you going to do without Charlie Kirk?
You know what Mikey had been told over and over again by Charlie? If anything happens to me, the first thing you do is you call Erica. Get her on the phone immediately. Now, Erica was in Phoenix. We were in Utah. Mikey did the emergency procedure. That's what you're supposed to do. And anybody in the military or law enforcement knows what I'm talking about. Now, I was in the Navy for 8 years. You think about all this stuff before it happens. So when it happens, you don't have to think. You just do what you're supposed to do. What sense would it make for Mikey to run to Charlie when his security team, 6 guys, were already on him? Well, 4 guys were on him. There were 2 more there.
Right.
They were already, they were right there. He would have just gotten in the way.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what he had to do and he did it.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out to Frank Turek and Allie Beth. We're going to actually watch this full video in a moment, but I just want to talk about this right here, Ruby. And I understand what you're saying. I'm not in disagreement. If let's say Ruby and I are reasonable friends, okay? We have a good relationship. Your family knows my family. Our kids play together, all that kind of good stuff like that. Maybe we all that kind of stuff, right? We're friends. We're reasonable. If I'm doing something that's unreasonable and you're like, hey, Jason, your wife told me that this is going on. Maybe you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. And that's reasonable. I say, hey, you know what? Okay. Thank you, Ruby. I appreciate that. And I make the correction. That's understandable. But why is Brandon Tatum not calling out Candace? Because she's not reasonable. He knows, like I know, like everybody in the best live chat on the internet knows, she's going to end up attacking him. So he's not actually doing himself a favor. He's actually being like the battered spouse who doesn't want to call out their husband. I know he loves me. I know he just blacked my eye, but he really loves me. That's what he's doing. No, Candace is the abusive spouse, the abusive friend. That's not a friend. That's not a friend that you want. Because when the chips fall down, your whole family is going to be on the chopping block. Your whole family is going to be in the crosshairs. Look at Charlie Kirk's family right now. His whole family's in the crosshairs because of his friend. I think Brandon should call her out. I'm sorry. Is that a friend that you really want, that you have to tiptoe around? If I have an explosive behavior like that you don't want to call me out because you lose the friendship because you tell me the truth. Now, again, if you're lying on me, then that's another thing. But if you're telling me something that's true and I don't want to accept the truth, am I really a good friend? Our friendship is not only when we're, having a great time at the cookout eating chicken wings. Our friendship is really tested when you have to tell me the truth. The scriptures say faithful are the wounds of a friend. If you have to, wound me by telling me the truth, I know that those wounds are faithful. I'm sorry, Brandon Tatum I'm not saying he ain't got to do nothing I tell him to do. He's doing his own thing. I don't think that he's doing Candace Owens any favors, though. Let's go.
And, I don't have any special insight, but I assume that thing, as you said, had been rehearsed. And as you said, had been talked about. And Erica said on Fox News to Jesse Waters that Mikey called her and said, get the kids, get security. This just happened. And so if that's not what happened, are people saying that Erica is lying? Like, that would be the implication there, that she's not telling the truth. And so I really feel for him, and the implication that, he was promised to be Charlie's successor, and that's why he's speaking at Liberty University. Again, no evidence of that. Mikey's not hosting Charlie's show. I don't see Mikey doing a bunch of interviews out there being like, I haven't seen him at a campus stop. He hasn't been on doing any of these debates. There have been a lot of us, you, me, a lot of other people who were in this circle who have been asked to go to this speaking engagement or go to this campus stop or fill in or do this interview or things like that. Not, to take anyone's place, but just because, we're trying to fill in for a friend. But I haven't seen any evidence of Mikey stepping into any realm. I've seen him continue to serve. And so again, I just don't see the proof. And I think it matters a whole lot to put someone, in the crosshairs by implying that somehow they were involved in this. That's like a really, really hefty claim to make.
Yeah, and it's causing dissension among the brothers.
These people, I would argue, love Charlie to the day he died. They were there when he died.
And they're holding his organization together day in and day and night. They're trying
their best. He is the cash cow. He is the idea. He's the movement. He's the bread and butter of Turning Point. What are you going to do without Charlie Kirk? As if they want him to die so they can take over. Erica, I love Erica. She's a wonderful woman. And that's why God matched her and Charlie together. Erica is not Charlie. It's not that easy for Erica to take over that organization from Charlie and try to continue his legacy. That's not easy to do. She can't go around the country and speak at 150 events.
She has 2 little kids, and she just had the most shocking experience of anybody's lifetime.
Can you imagine? I'm married, and obviously you're married too. Can you imagine? And I don't even want you to think about this, but if you lost your significant other that way, not because
Okay, let me pick a fight real quick. All right, siblings. Because Brandon Tatum does say that Candace is like a sister to him. Okay. So everybody in this live chat, you have a sister. I'm just making it happen with the power of imagination. You have a sister, and you and your sister have a really good relationship. Okay. You have a really good relationship. But one day you find out that your sister is doing drugs, hard drugs, in the vein, the whole nine. And for whatever reason, some way or another, your mom and dad and the adults in your life don't know. They don't know it. But your sister is doing really hard drugs, and she drives. And she's a school bus driver. So she drives kids on the school bus, the cheese limo, in the morning and evening, and she does hard drugs. Let me ask you a question. Would you run the risk of ruining your relationship with your sister by telling your mom and dad, telling her employer, and telling the police that she's doing something that's putting other people, not only her own life in danger, but the lives of 60 kids on the yellow limousine? Would you run the risk of that? In the chat. I just want to know, make sure I'm not going crazy. Today you do have a sister. Today you actually have a sister. And you really like her. Absolutely. You would unequivocally. Oh, it's a terrible analogy? Well, thank you so much. Come up with a better one. Absolutely. I think most of us would probably go and say, Mom, Dad, sister is doing hard drugs. Employer, my sister's doing hard drugs. You would do everything to stop her, not because you don't care about her, but you realize that the ramifications of her doing hard drugs, possibly being drugged up while she's driving the school bus, is going to be terrible. So same thing here with Brandon. Saying that Candace is a sister is not a stopgap for the fact that she's doing terrible things. That's not a shield. That doesn't protect anybody. But I say, well, she's my sister. I don't want to ruin it. Heck, she's ruining other people's lives. I'm just saying, like, that doesn't work. It doesn't play out in real life.
Because had a heart attack or something, or they had chemo, going through chemo, and it was a kind of an expected end. They get assassinated on television in front of the world. My son saw Charlie get assassinated. They were sharing the videos at school. So they're seeing it all over the world. You lose your loved one like that. And people who love you or should love you and care about you or care about at least your husband should protect your heart in that moment. Because they should know, if they're married, what it could possibly be if you lose somebody like that. Losing a dog hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've lost pets before. And like, I'm deaf.
Y'all do realize interventions are public. That's my thing. Like, if you go the route of intervention, which is perfectly fine, that's a public event. That's a public happening. You get a psychologist or some kind of professional, family, more than one person. So when the people that say, well, Brandon might have went to her privately, an intervention is almost by default or definition is a public event. You're at least going to get two other people, because you've already gone to her privately and she hasn't responded properly. She ain't changed one bit. Because that's the other thing you got to keep in mind. If Brandon has gone to Candace privately, nothing has changed. She's still doing what she was doing before he went to her. So what was the result?
Devastated. Losing your husband is devastating. My heart is, I'm going to protect her.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. I don't care about conspiracies, money, none of that stuff. The first thing I did was I wanted a shirt for Charlie. And then I was going to a UFC fight. And I'm like, I want to wear a shirt to represent Charlie, because that's what this is about. Not me, nobody else, it's Charlie. Yeah. And I said, and people wanted, hey, I want that shirt. I said, okay, this is what I'll do. 100% of the profits that we sell from this shirt to go to Erica. And we raise money, we're going to give it to Erica. Mm-hmm. And for people to not only bash him and his people around him, but those who are not bold enough to stand up and say something. I know people who claim that they were friends with him, Charlie, And then they have a guy come on the podcast that hated Charlie, that spoke ill will of Charlie every
Who are you
single
talking
day.
about?
Vile.
Who are you talking about, Brandon? You can't be talking about Tucker Carlson, can you? You cannot be talking about old Tuck and having Nick Fuentes on his podcast. You couldn't be doing that, could you? Why don't you just say their names? Brandon, no more pronouns. We need all proper pronouns from now forward. No more. Just say their names, my guy. It's okay. It is okay. I know you liked that episode. This is actually a clip from a larger live stream. The link is down in the description, so you can go check it out. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you down there. Grace and peace.